Hello, I'm Jonasz Lewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight Sunday, Russian forces launched 60 drones and 3 ballistic missiles against Ukraine. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, drone and missile impacts were recorded at 12 locations across the country. In the Chernihiv region, around 2,700 people were left without power following the overnight attack. Officials say repair crews had already been working for several days to fix damage from a previous strike. Ukraine's state railway company Ukrzaliznytsia reported that rail infrastructure in Sumy was damaged by Russian shelling. In Kharkiv, authorities confirmed that 5 people were injured and 1 killed in an attack on civilian infrastructure. Now, on the front line, Russian troops continue to build up forces north of Pokrovsk. Using forward positions they have already secured, Moscow's units are maintaining a steady push deeper into the city. According to Ukrainian military analyst Konstantin Mashovets, Ukrainian forces have launched several counterattacks aimed at dislodging Russian units in the area between Pokrovsk and Dobropillia. Fighting is ongoing across the southern parts of Pokrovsk, where Ukrainian troops are battling Russian infiltration groups. Now, further south, Russian forces are also intensifying their efforts to advance northward, attempting to break through towards the western outskirts of Pokrovsk, near the city's industrial zone. Control over this area could allow them to cut the road connecting Pokrovsk to Pavlograd. For the past several weeks, Russia's main objective has been to encircle the Ukraine defense sector around Pokrovsk from both flanks. Turning now to the Middle East, tensions have flared again in Gaza after new Israeli airstrikes. The Israel Defense Forces say they carried out a series of strikes in the Gaza Strip, targeting what they described as weapons depots, firing positions, and other terrorist infrastructure. The military also reported destroying 6 kilometers of underground tunnels. The IDF said the strikes were a response to ceasefire violations by Hamas. Earlier on Sunday morning, Hamas attacked an Israeli patrol in Rafah, an area that under the ceasefire agreement remains under Israeli control. According to the IDF, the attackers fired an RPG at a military vehicle, killing 2 soldiers and wounding 2 more. Hamas later claimed it had no operational contact with the militants in Rafah and denied responsibility for the attack. The ceasefire agreement, in place since the 13th of October, included the release of all remaining Israeli hostages and the return of bodies of the deceased, while Israel freed several hundred Palestinian prisoners and began a phased withdrawal from Gaza. According to the Hamas-run civil defense agency, at least 45 people were killed in the latest Israeli airstrikes. Later, the Israeli military confirmed that the ceasefire has been restored, saying it would continue to uphold the agreement but respond decisively to any further violations. In the Dobropillia area, a mortar crew from the Ukrainian Black Swan Battalion spotted a Russian drone tracking their vehicle. Realizing the threat of a possible FPV drone attack or artillery strike, the soldiers opened fire on the target. After neutralizing the threat, Ukrainian mortar gunners continue to carry out their combat mission, preventing the enemy from tracking their positions.
Давай! Ну метров 150 за нами летить. Бачу. Стой, розсипай. FPV! Хто бачив? Вон. Вали на! О, бачу! Вон! Давай, рух!
Ukrainian Frontline aviation continues to destroy the enemy with high-precision weapons. During a combat engagement near the village of Novokarlivka in the Zaporizhia region, a MiG-29 fighter jet of the Ukrainian Air Force carried out a precision bombing of a building where Russian forces were hiding. A high-precision GBU-62 JDAM-ER bomb, manufactured in the US, was used for the strike. Thanks to the satellite guidance system, the munition hit the target with pinpoint accuracy, turning the occupied shelter into ruin. The JDAM-ER is a guided aerial bomb with folding wings capable of hitting targets at a distance of over 70 kilometers. The use of such munitions significantly increases the effectiveness of Ukrainian pilots, allowing them to strike without entering the enemy's air defense zone. Moving on, and we have a UFO alert. Russian soldiers noticed what they called an unknown flying object near their positions. What is this mysterious phenomenon? Should Mulder and Scully be placed on high alert? Well, let's take a look.
Неопознанный летающий объект, блин. Что вот это? Да, видео. Что это такое? Она к нам это приближается. Нет, она потихоньку к нам.
Now, a quick glance at the comments section beneath this video reveals the truth, and it's not the truth is out there kind of situation at all. Turns out we're most likely dealing with a fiber-optic cable reflecting the sunlight, meaning a drone passed over the area a while ago, leaving the cable in its wake. In fact, fiber-optic drones are a bit of an issue in the battlefield today. Russia began using these crude devices to avoid electronic warfare, and this idea actually turned out to be quite effective, causing trouble behind Ukrainian lines. The only way to stop a drone like this is to sever the wire, which might not always be easy. The steady supply of huge bundles of cable from China, often kilometers long, helps Moscow with its harassment of Ukrainian troops using drone warfare on a daily basis. Now, returning from a combat mission, a Ukrainian helicopter captures eerie footage of the destroyed town of Mirnograd in the Donetsk region. From above, you can see the burnt-out high-rise buildings, broken windows, charred walls, and empty courtyards where peaceful life once thrived. The once densely populated area now resembles scenes from a post-apocalyptic movie, only shadows of houses and ashes instead of human voices. Such footage is not just a video. It is evidence of the large-scale destruction of Ukrainian cities, carried out daily by Russian troops, turning residential areas into targets. Ukraine claims that throughout this conflict, throughout this illegal invasion, Russia has committed about 150,000 different war crimes. And that number is really powerful. And it is confirmed when you see these cities. You might just imagine how many civilians were unable to escape, how many of them died in the course of the shelling. Then there is deliberate destruction of property, the deliberate destruction of infrastructure, and so on and so on. So these images should actually be burnt into the retinas of all those looking at them, especially the decision makers, the politicians, because when you talk about giving away territory, when you're talking about compromise, one needs to be aware that with Russia taking over territory, destruction by shelling is only the beginning, and later on more war crimes come as the Russian forces continue to eliminate those who remain there. They continue their intimidation and further efforts at essentially erasing the Ukrainian identity of these territories. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.